Welcome, everybody, to the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting as we're at Rockingham for race number 12 of the season. And right around the corner, playoffs are looming. And just 3 races after tonight, playoffs, our top 12 will be racing to see who's going to be getting the championship, but only just a few more races to go. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is also going to be Hunter Hayward and Robert Moyer running productions. But before we get some more racing action, huge thanks to our sponsors, that of ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Go get yourself a game or two. Feel the sounds, not just hear the sounds. But ButtKicker with the Game or Two allows you to feel all of the different ambient sounds. And guess what? You don't need the software. It automatically connects in when you plug in your Game or Two and hook it up to your rig and plug it into your computer. Game or Two. ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. And also, if you want to get yourself 20% off of your Game or Two at ButtKicker, use the promo code FreakyFast20. That's Freaky with 2 E's. FreakyFast20. Get 20% off, as well as McConey Setup Shops. It's our our setups, but your victories. Thank you so much to McConey Setup Shops. They got setups as well as they've got coaching. We'll talk more about McConey Setup Shops later on, but we have Rockingham here tonight. Hunter, I missed last week at Nashville Super Speedway, but it was Kyle McCoy getting the win, and it certainly was not in a super dramatic way. But Hunter, how are your thoughts of last week as well as coming into here at Rockingham?
Yes, Sam. Nashville and the Rockingham are 2 very similar tracks in the fashion of taking care of your tires and tire conservation. And last week the 7 of Kyle McCoy did it almost perfectly. And that is one driver to really look out for here today, as well as Rockingham, really old pavement, really quick track. High banking all around the track, and you're going to be quick in every corner. It's multi-groove racing as well, so it's definitely going to be really hard on the right front. I'm also noticing cars sliding off of corners right now in practice, so it's going to be interesting to see how well these drivers save their tires and how much they're going to back off these corners.
Yeah, drivers certainly going to be worrying about their tires, and there's not going to be a lot of them to work with here tonight. Again, like all the races this season, we've got 1 fast repair if needed, as well as 4 tire sets. The one you start out with, 3 in pit road, and with it being a 130 lap race, I'm expecting all 3 of those setups in pit road to be utilized for sure. Practice, 2 minutes left here as drivers still racing around. But Hunter, with seeing the fact that there's not a lot of sets of tires for tonight's race, even though it's only 150 laps, 150 miles will be the race distance. But man, I think it might be more of a if your tires are falling off more than if your fuel's going to run out with the timing of these pit stops.
Oh, definitely. And this track is, kind of similar in the way of Dover. Much higher banking here, of course, and the straights are a little bit longer and a little bit flatter than Dover. But they kind of drive pretty similarly, where you can run multiple grooves. You can run right up on that paint. You can run the middle groove, and I'm also seeing some drivers electing to run right up on that wall. That's gonna be dangerous at a track like this. But this is definitely a place where take care of your tires as much as possible. But you don't see drivers really running it dry because their tires are already falling apart before they can run it dry on fuel. So it'll be interesting to see how these drivers elect their strategies. Only 3 sets, 150 laps. That's about 50 laps on each set. Actually, well, there's four tires in race for the drivers to start off on 1 dry set as well. So these drivers are going to be splitting it almost even around this track for only 150 laps. But it's going to be a quick race, but these tires definitely are going to fall apart pretty quickly as well.
They certainly will be. The racing surface, the old surface, also the high banking, running quick. Another factor we're going to be touching on throughout the day here at Rockingham is the temperature. What is the track temp looking like throughout the night? The ambient temperature currently right now, 71 degrees, and it's just coming up to 1 o'clock in sim at that of Rockingham, North Carolina. So drivers are starting to, get a sense that the temperature crank up just a little bit, but the track temp, 122 degrees. That's going to be melting the rubber just as much as the drivers really pushing their car each and every lap.
Yeah, definitely. A wind actually of around 2 2 to 3 miles an hour, picking up a little bit every single minute by minute here, Sam. So it looks like the hot winds are coming in as well. Maybe getting the track heat up a little bit more during the race, as it definitely will with all these cars running on the track for 150 laps here. You know, really high bank track here for only a 1 mile track. 22 degrees in turns 1 and 2, 25 degrees in turns 3 and 4. The straights are 8 to 12 degrees here. So these drivers always are working with pretty large banking here. So, I mean, it's going to be quick in all corners and even on the straights as well to carry all that speed through it. Right now, you know, even with the track usage right now is around 50%, so that rubber is really getting laid in. These drivers are going to be running it through this corner pretty hot. So it's going to be interesting to see if these drivers really do send it in the corners. And, you know, Sam, drivers sending it in the corners, sliding on an exit, usually does not end out very well.
No, it really doesn't, and especially with the field we're expecting to have around 28 drivers possible could be running here tonight, as that's as many cars were loaded into the server. And we've seen throughout this season some drivers even show up in the middle of qualifying. As long as you're in the session by qualifying, you are still eligible to race for these drivers. As qualifying underway, they have themselves 5 minutes to try to put down the best time in just 2 laps. So drivers have the pressure right now to make sure that they can put down a quick time. But like we noted on Hunter, the drivers have a lot of slipping and sliding to deal with in just these first couple of laps. And you got to build up that tire pressure and the heat in these tires so you can run around. But certainly only 2 laps, it's not a lot of time to build up that heat.
Yeah, definitely not. And with drivers that have a low downforce package and want the most grip and sticky rubber to their tires as they can, and a track to get a hot lap down, it's usually going to be the second lap. So we're definitely going to see quicker times for the drivers in their second lap right now. Top of the board right now is going to be the 05 of Scott Rickard, running almost an identical lap of his fastest lap in practice. So right now looks like the track temp is staying around the same in temperatures. It's going to be picking up in the race, of course, but you know, drivers look like they're still a little bit more comfortable with the car than I was expecting to be for around 130-degree track temp. But you know, drivers sliding on exit still, even with only 2 laps on their tires. Now, of course, they're pushing as hard as they can, but you know, if they're sliding it this early already, it might be interesting to see how long these tires can really go before the rear tires, the right front, or all 4 of the tires give out.
On board with 31 of Trey Jackson. He'll be coming out of turn number 4 on his second lap time, and you can just see how the front stretch really, it's such a unique front stretch where there's a little segment where it's straight and a little kink. Once you come across the line, it's going to be something for these drivers to worry about. This 31 up to 3rd position, and playoffs right around the corner, Hunter. I mean, 15 race regular season. This is only race number 12 of the regular season, and we have had 6 different drivers. But looking at the drivers that have won so far this season, we have about 2 of them that are outside of our top 12 in points. That means we could be seeing some of these drivers being pushed out of the playoffs, even if you're pointed your way into mathematically what's the top 12, but because of the win in your in system, could be bumping yourself out. So, you know, some of these drivers we're starting to see might be placed in a must-win scenario with the upcoming races that are coming up after Rockingham. We got Watkins Glen, New Hampshire, and Talladega. Those will be our final 3 races before playoffs come around. And here tonight, Rockingham. I mean, we got tonight in Homestead, both mile courses, but certainly 2 very different layouts of here at Rockingham. There's a lot of banking to try to help you through these corners and try to surge with one another. New Hampshire in 2 weeks. That course does not have practically any banking. It's all about working to get to the inside lane as fast as possible. Qualifying almost over. Still have a minute left, and we're still seeing a couple of drivers trickling onto the racing surface and starting to come to a close. But here is the 4 of Aaron Hale. Hale, this 4 machine comes in 11th in points and is right at that bubble marker I was talking about of drivers that get bumped out if he's not able to have a great run for these last couple of races. Hunter, we've seen this 4 machine have some great races throughout the season, but he's got to be practically perfect from here on out if he wants to make the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, we see the consistency in him every single week. But at this point with the point system, I don't think he really needs, or he does need a win pretty much to get in at this point. So like you said, he might need a perfect next 3 races, and including this one as well. Now, of course, a win would be perfect for him right now, as the 4 actually will put himself into, it looks like P17 right now, so not the best qualifying for him. Let's see if he can climb his way back up to the front, but, only 3 more races after this, Sam. A win would definitely be nice, but consistency definitely will pay off as well.
It definitely will. Qualifying has now officially come to a close as drivers are getting ready for the Rockingham Speedway. It is built up for this moment, race 12 of the regular season, and it's going to be the man who's on top of the points leaderboard. Scott Rickard going to be top of the board with over a 45 thousandths of a second over that of Travis Butt, who's going to be in second place for row number 1. Row 2 going to be finding us with that of Trey Jackson, Ken Campbell. Ken Campbell, driver that's really putting on a great show here of recently, with that of Kyle Boyling to his outside. Nate Lynch going to be in 6th place with that of Derek Offerman, and a Mike Lynch and Kyle McCoy going to be in 9th position. And then we find that of Michael Watts finishing out your top 10. Over to you, Hunter.
And starting off your 6th row will be that 9 of Patrick Hasty, the 12 of John Dart, the 209 of 12 of John Dart, starting in 12th position. Starting out in your 7th row will be the 66 of John Dart, 14th, Andrew Medlin, really consistent driver. Not usually seeing the best performance of qualifying like we usually do for that 12 of Medlin, but right now trying to claw his way back, maybe get a race victory today. Starting in 15th will be that 1 of Jason Ricketts, 16th, 68 of Nick Holland, 17th will be that 4 of Aaron Hale, like we just talked about earlier. Really needs a lot of consistent and perfect finishes for himself to try to claw his way into the playoffs. 18th will be the 51 of Mark Beverly. 19th, here we go, we got the 17 of Brett Summers. Gonna in round out your top 20 here, Sam. It's gonna be that 24 of Brian Lynch.
Ryan Lynch going to be in 20th and finishing out. All 28 drivers did qualify, did show up for the grid, but in 21st, find that of Josh Warner, as well as the 53 of Chris Wade going to be back here. Wade, once again, trying some similar strategy he's done almost all season long, of either he's up front or he starts at the back, but we always see him up in the top 15 by the end of the day. The 29 going to be in 23rd position with the 65 of that of Kovacic. Kovacic hoping to have just a good top 15 type of a day for this 95 team, with that of Thomas Velez in 25th. Dylan Grimm in 26th with Brian Chu. Finishing out our 28 drivers going to be Max Ward, as drivers in line, stacked up, ready to go. And up front, it's going to be that of Scott Rickard as well as Bud. And looking at this field right now, it is certainly stacked up. And when you see one driver, one car driving around this course, it looks like there's plenty of space. But when they're stacked 2 by 2, just one little bump can ruin someone's day. These drivers are still marching around, getting stacked up, ready to go, waiting for the pace car to pull off. And he does. The rock bottom 150 is now green, as it's going to be Buck in the better launch in the 00, keeping it side by side as they go into turn number 1. Scott Rickard, who's been just on a tear for himself. He's been so quick in the early parts of the race. Oh, there's the 00 getting loose. What we were talking about, drivers loose off exit. Even the drivers up front having their issues, going through 3 and 4. Still, Scott Rickard up front. For the rest of the field, they got to be careful as we're on board with that of Ken Campbell.
The 00 got really lucky there. The 05 gave him some room to breathe. As you saw, he got to the gas quicker on the outside, had more track to work with, but unfortunately his tires were just not warm enough yet to stick to the track like he wanted, and lost the rear there, and was fortunate enough to save it there. But now the 7 of Kyle McCoy right now battling with the 84. Mike Watts, he's trying to make his way back up the field. He got the win last week. Similar track to Nashville here. Looks like he's coming his way up. We've always talked about it, Sam. 7's really good at tire conservation, so let's see how well he can do tonight as well. But also the 20 of Offerman, every single week he's in the top 10 right now, battling for 7th with the 44 of Matt Bowling. All these drivers right now under a blanket, starting off this race right now, all these drivers really not giving each other an inch, but yet again, it's the rock. There's not much room to breathe.
No, there really is, as we're on board with the 25. This is Nate Lynch. Probably one of the best starts we've seen Nate Lynch have all season long, and why not do it with a different scheme here tonight? Nate Lynch, I'm assuming he made a bet that he was that the Braves were not going to get swept by the Yankees. He lost that bet and was told to run a pink Danica Patrick car. Well, you can see it's a green Danica Patrick car. maybe if we get some good luck with this new scheme, we might see the 25 finally rock out the pink. But Nate, that's not the scheme you had originally posted. We'll see if he brings out the pink one though next week at the Glen. But Hunter, I mean, sometimes you gotta love new schemes. It's trouble on the backstretch. No yellow gonna be coming out. No, it comes out now. The big one for some of these drivers. It's Watts as well as Mark Beverly caught up in this one.
Oh yeah, multiple drivers involved there, especially the 84 of Mike Watts, like we've been talking about. His past couple of races is really, really good. He's been up front and battling for the lead every single week. Unfortunate for him, but thankfully these drivers still have one faster pair. Doesn't look like too much damage right now for the 84 as he's driving around making his way back to the pack. But, Sam, I'll give it right back to you.
Yeah, I mean, it originally started with that Watts in front of this group, but what really made a lot of contact, you're going to see from the 209, that's going to be Travis Dart. Bobbing and weaving, get into the 9, coming back across. Mark Beverly nowhere to go, as well as we saw a couple of other drivers trickling in. And, oh, man, hard contact for at least 4 out of the 5 drivers that had some type of contact in that incident. Caution number 1 on lap 5 of here at the Rock. And Hunter, I mean, this is kind of what we were expecting to see, especially in the middle of the pack where drivers are just packed like sardines. One slip up coming out of the corner, you're either going to mess up just your race or you're going to catch a lot of other drivers.
Yeah, definitely. And, we like to compare this track as a Dover-esque type, track type of formation. And there's a lot of differences it has as well. But, the backstretch right there, you can even see with the pace laps, there's not much room to breathe with these cars kind of single file. So, when a wreck like that happens, you saw the 84 Mike Watts all the way down to the apron on almost along that inside wall and still couldn't go anywhere. So it's pretty scary to see an accident in front of you go down. And unfortunately, not much room to go around the wreck, and unfortunately caught up 4 to 5 cars there.
Yeah, 4 drivers heavily damaged, most likely going to have to use a fast repair here. And looking at drivers that are trying to get themselves in service is already coming over the radio, trying to give a clear indication to the field. Travis Dart trying to be respectful, saying, hey, that was on me who got loose and primarily got into the field. But honestly, it could have been, we're not in the minds of the drivers, but with seeing, the 84 originally getting loose and not sure if he was going to overcorrect to come back up in the field, I'd imagine that was a slight factor as well on what we saw these drivers having a chain react, try to save themselves, and just saw the repercussions of everyone else being involved. But drivers are now stacked up side by side. We're going this time by as they're on the back stretch, but Hunter, we get to try it again. Only a few drivers coming to pit road to get service done, but right now up front, I mean, it's Butt and also that of Scott Rickard once again our front 2.
Yeah, an interesting call for the 00. He's the leader for this restart. He's going to look the top. Maybe he thinks he'll get a better run on the backstretch and clear that 05.
Hoping to have a little bit more of a launch possibly here. Scott Rickard on the inside, Travis Dart on the outside. And immediately gone is the 00. He is going to get that lead immediately. And everyone else is going to have to try to figure out how to catch up. And with the 00 staying a little bit too high, I mean, he's trying to find a different lane from everyone else. Kind of a little bit of a Dover lane of the apex, going as high as you can. And then getting a launch of trying to use the gravity to slingshot your way on these stretches. And right now, 00, it's working out as he has got himself a 4 car lengths lead. Originally, I wasn't sure about that type of a move, but I got to be concerned for those tires. If you continue with this type of a move, that's going to be harsh on the tires with how much you're trying to arc yourself each and every time through 3 and 4 and 1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely. And I was about to touch on that factor, the 00. He has such that high, he enters so high, and, the higher you go on the track, the more track you have to work with, the longer around the track it is for the driver. So he enters really high with the arc, and then he arcs it back down to the apex of the corner and then swings it back up high again. I know the right front definitely does not appreciate him using the most track he can right now. He enters the corner almost along the wall and then hugs it right back down to the bottom of the track on exit. So 00's tires really quick in the short run, but let's see if it can last in the long run.
We're watching the drivers in the battle that's currently going on. Further back in the field, this is 4th. The drivers that are battling for 21st position. You got that of Warner, Kovacic, as well as Brett Somers and Mark Beverly. As Kovacic stuck on the outside and really not trying to do a similar slingshot move that we were seeing Bud do, kind of just staying high, trying to let other drivers go. And, you know, the longer the run goes on, the more I expect that higher line to really come in to its own. More grip that's placed down should help all these drivers try to make this a grooved type of a race course. But currently right now, only driver we've really seen make that outside line work is Travis Butt. As we move back up to the battle for 6th place, you've got that, well, technically it's the battle for 4th, as you've got Trey Jackson leading this group with that of Kyle Boyling, Nate Lynch, and Kyle McCoy, all just in line with Andrew Medlin, just lingering in the middle as you see that of Lynch running in 6th place. I mean, huge credit to this 25 team that's just trying to make a late surge and a great run for themselves here. I mean, it's a little bit too late for my liking to make a surge up to try to make it into the points, but comes in 14th in the points, and where drivers lie, about 35, almost 40 points out from the bubble to make and point his way into the playoffs. So Nate needs this type of a run if he wants to make it into the playoffs.
Definitely a really good run right now for the 25 team, trying to make it a little bit better. I know the 25 definitely has a win in him, and right now is proving it that he's having a really good run. Right now, looking at the 12 of Medlin as well as the 7 of McCoy, you know, like you said, this is practically the battle for 4th. You know, Andrew Medlin's running in 8th, right behind the 7 of McCoy, and he's, you know, all these cars right in front of him. The 7 of McCoy and Medlin are known for saving their tires in the long run and being better in the long run than other cars behind them. So let's see if they can just slowly wait behind them and pick them off one by one later in this run. Right now, looking with Medlin, you know, right now enters really low, slides up the track, comes back down on center, apexes the corner, and then slides up the track, goes right up against that wall on exit, kind of like a Dover entrance and exit right here. Now goes in this corner a little bit lower. You got higher banking to work with. You can carry a little bit more speed through here. Hugs the bottom really all the way through the corner, and now back on the straightaway. Like you said, a little straight section here, and then it turns into another little D oval. That right there is a lap around Rockingham, but also you can see here on his onboard here, Sam, look how bumpy it is in the corners. You know, you hit one of those bumps, any one of those a million bumps in the middle of the corner, your car will bottom out and it can slide up the track really easily.
Yeah, and also you can kind of see how his car just lights up. He is completely maxing the revs once he enters the corner, so you've got to be careful of these a little bit of temps on the engines. If you get any front end damage, could be costly, as that of Andrew Medlin coming in to be one of the highest movers currently, and the drivers that are in the top 10 up 6 positions, and the other driver that's up 6 positions is a guy that's back in 10th place, that of Nick Holland. But man, I mean, for Medlin, you've got to think he's one of those drivers that just has not gotten a win this season, and you know it's coming at some point. If not during the regular season, you got to think the 12 is going to get a win during the postseason at some point. But the man who's got the most wins, that's Nick Holland, who's got himself with 3. And that 3 in a row that we saw the 68 have, I mean, that was a magical run that he was having, just finding himself up front. And coming into Rockingham, I had a sense that we could be seeing similar magic here. If we started to see a lot more late cautions coming out, the more cautions that were happening, the better shot this 68 had, because of the different pit road strategies that were going on. It enabled that of Nick Holland to be up front and be leading in the final 20 laps of the 3 races that he won. I'm wondering if we could see a similar strategy for himself as we roll back to that of Aaron Hale. Hale, once again, needs a solid run for the 4 team, but he's back in 12th. He needs to just get a little bit faster and be in the top 10 by the end of the race.
And right now the 4 of Aaron Hale up 5 positions from where he qualified right now, doing being really consistent right now. Now battling the 66 and John Dart, but John's just not going to get the chance to slide up the track and get the best exit he wants. Is the 4 of Hale. Man, he really carried that center corner really well, and now look at the run he's going to get on exit there. So right now, oh no, he gets into the wall there. It's definitely not what you wanted to see. Now that's heavy right side damage for the 4.
He's going to be trying to limp this thing around, but you're just seeing he lost so much time. Now going to be side by side. John Dart in the 66. Going to be trying to make the pass into turn number 3. Still side by side. But the force pinching on the exit, exactly what Hale needs to do. Just not allowing the 66 to get back into the throttle and able to defend perfectly for 12th position. Hale might have made the mistake, had an opening given to John Dart, but Dart not able to capitalize. He'll have to try again next time around. But Hunter, I mean, looking at the damage for the Ford, shouldn't be hurting him too much as we fall back to that of Derek Offerman. I mean, he started out with a great start to the season for this 20 team. I mean, he was one of the drivers that had just constant, really top 10 after top 10. We were wondering when he was going to get a top 5. And for that of Offerman, currently 5th in points. He's got 2 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Still hasn't gotten a win for this 20 machine. But right now running in 10th position, doing his best to just stay consistent. And that's what's got him so high up in the points currently, is because of the consistency we've seen from this 10 machine. I mean, from this 20 machine.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah, you're all good there, Sam. But yeah, me and Robert kept calling each other Sam last week, so I mean, so we definitely understand the confusion there sometimes. But you know, yeah, touching on the 20 of Offerman there, I mean, every single time we bring up his name in finishing position, it's always inside the top 10. So he's just perfectly consistent into the top 10. And you always said we were always wondering when he'll get that top 5. I mean, I'm always wondering when he's not in the top 10. That's when you know there's a problem going on with the 20. So right now, really consistent driver, really good in the long run as well. Like the 12 of Midland in front of him, who's battling the 68. So, I mean, it's perfect for the points for the 20 of Offerman. And right now, if he can just keep finishing into the top 10 week in and week out, I'm pretty sure he could be a really good playoff candidate. And consistency pays off perfectly for the playoffs.
Saw a blip of smoke. I believe that was from Mike Watts in the 84, our Daytona winner. He was all the way back in 28th position, now 3 laps down. Only driver a lap down. This has not been the day for Mike Watts, and not the start he wanted at all. But with his win, luckily the 84, he's locked into the playoffs. All he needs to do is just finish out and start all the rest of the races for this season. As looking at some of the other drivers further back in the field in 19, we find that a Max Ward battling with the 29 machine and trying to make a pass here. Is that a Max? Trying to make the pass cleanly as we move up to Brett Sommers. And Sommers right now, looking at some of the last laps that have been put down, running pretty similar to the drivers that he is around. So kind of going to be in no man's land. And for that, Brett Sommers kind of can see a little bit of that damage on the rear end. He was bumped heavily on the back bumper during our first caution tonight. And we'll see if the 17, if he ever decides to use a fast repair leader on in this race, or if it's just going to be a comfort zone for himself. So wait until his next pit stop, which, speaking of next pit stop, I mean, Hunter, we're about 20 to 25 laps away from thinking about pit stops for these drivers.
It definitely, this track is known for the detrimental damage it does to the tires and the wear it does to it. So, I mean, I don't really know when the pit window will open up. I don't know if drivers are going to run it dry or if they're going to pit because the tires just can't go any longer. So maybe around 60 to 70 we might see drivers start coming out, maybe even a little bit earlier. So keep an eye out for that, Sam. Around halfway through the run, it looks like besides the drivers that actually came down during that wreck, they might have a little bit, about 5 more laps, 5-6 more laps of an advantage over the drivers that didn't come down because of the caution. So it'll be interesting to see if those drivers make their strategy just stretch out a little bit longer and have a little bit more of tire wear, a little bit more grip at the end of the runs for them, and maybe drive their way up to the front. But yeah, right now, I mean, looking all throughout the field right now, Sam, drivers not really running that yellow paint. You just saw the 44 Kyle Bowling right there. They enter pretty low, but then they slide up and run that middle groove in the corner, unless you're side by side right here, like the 84 Mike Watts, who's trying to run as pretty much as high as he can, staying away from that wall, but trying to get the best run on exit as he can, and right there just flies by the 7 number 31.
Yeah, I mean, the battle for basically the third on back is all right here. You've got the 15, Ken Campbell. He's being pressured by the fresher tires of the lap car of that of Mike Watts, and then drop back to the fourth where we've been watching a lot of this. Kyle McCoy getting by Trey Jackson and now going to be trying to move forward. Kyle Boyling as well trying to make the move past each other, and as we were watching the chaos that's going on to see who's going to be in the top 5, the pass for the lead has happened, with Scott Rickard able to make the pass over that of Travis Button. 00 burned off those tires. He is falling back quickly now. That last time by 4/10 slower. He's now locking up his brakes on entry. The 00, he was fabulous for those first 25 laps, but it might be a downfall as Ken Campbell seeing the battle for the 15. Campbell, he's got the man who's been on fire recently, Kyle McCoy, on his back bumper.
Yeah, and right now the 15 of Campbell and McCoy right now about 2.5 seconds behind the 2 leaders. So I don't know if they really laid back a ton to save those tires, or the 00 and the 05 are just sitting burner laps right now and quicker than these 2 in front of them. But Kyle McCoy up to 4th already. We always talk about how good he is with consistency in lap times and consistency with tire conservation. He's already up to the back row of the 15 back bumper of 15 to Ken Campbell, and it's only about 40 laps in here, Sam. We get a caution and bunch these guys back up. I mean, my pick today, it's got to be that 7 of McCoy. He's so good at tracks like these where you have to just take care of your car and take care of your right front. He was the past ARCA Series champion. These cars kind of drive pretty similarly. A lot of understeer, not much downforce, and you got some power on your rear tires. So he's always really good at taking care of those tires. Right now, 7 of Kyle McCoy. I mean, unless something happens with him during this race, he's my favorite right now, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, for the Stars and Stripes, for the whole entire league as a whole, they've had, counting this season, they've had 3 seasons. Each season they have changed which car they were running. Season 1, it was the ARCAs. Season 2, they were running the trucks. Here, they're running the Xfinity cars. They're still debating on what the next season, which vehicle they're going to be running, but certainly the ARCA Season 1 champion, Kyle McCoy, he has been doing everything in his power to run well, and he's missed 2 races this season, and this is where things get even crazier. Kyle McCoy is only coming into this race 9 starts, and he came in 2nd in the points overall, just showing if Kyle McCoy showed up for every single week, he could be our points leader coming into tonight, but he's now, for himself. But the madness that is going on right now as our leader, this is Scott Rickard, has caught the back traffic. Contact to be making. It's going to be everyone scattering. 3-1 for a moment. 1-2. They get by somehow as 5 drivers, 6 drivers. It don't matter. Our leaders that yellow line and make the pass by lap traffic. But for Ken Campbell, Kyle McCoy, they're now in that hornet's nest. It's still madness. And our lead lap drivers, they got to be careful. Already contact. Oh no, Ken Campbell with that of Travis Velez. Oh, you knew it was going to happen. And it was the driver that was running in 3rd place.
Oh no. Ken Campbell was actually catching the leaders there in those past couple of laps. Now the Hornets Nest definitely helped out those leaders right there, but that is heartbreak for the 15 of Ken Campbell. Really good all day and really consistent tire wear. Thankfully he has that faster pair, but man.
Here's the free fast broadcasting replay. And you just see Campbell's catching up to this path. The closing rate is just, it's just impossible to figure out how to attack. And both drivers going for the same spot, and it just didn't work out. And that's just a racing deal. And somehow everyone else got through. And there was no other drivers involved. It was just those 2.
Wow. Yeah, it kind of looks like one of those... that incident we saw at Darlington with Jimmy Johnson and Chris Buescher, just nowhere to go for the lap cars and nowhere to go for the driver closing in on him. So, unfortunately, just like you mentioned, one of those racing incidents there. But, unfortunate for the 3rd place runner right there of Ken Campbell.
Ken Campbell going to be coming into pit road with the rest of the lead lap drivers, as we were coming up to that window when drivers were going to be thinking about green flag pit stops. But, instead of coming in under green, why not come in under yellow? That Avella is most likely going to have to use a fast repair. We're also expecting to see plenty of other drivers having to come into pit road to use fast repairs for themselves. We might see even that of Ken Campbell use his, as currently right now, I believe we've only had 1 driver use their fast repair, and that is Mike Watts, everyone else still waiting to choose when they're going to use it. Take that back. Mark Beverly has just used his fast repair, as well as Ken Campbell has used his. So 3 drivers in this race have already used their fast repair. That safety net is gone. Expected to be 4 with that of Velez coming in and maybe a couple of others. But that of Dylan Grimm got to lead his lap, and now going to be coming back into pit road, going to be going to the back half of the field. Interesting call from the 23. I mean, what do you think of that move to stay out an extra lap from the rest of the field by that of Dylan Grimm?
Yeah, that's definitely a very interesting call. I think the 23 might have been a lap down there and maybe had to pit later with the lap cars, or yeah, it looks like he just might have not realized pit road was open or something. He might have just not noticed that he's supposed to come down pit road that time. So interesting call for the 23. Maybe he just wanted to pit a little lap later and take his set while no one else was really down with him. So you know, I mentioned earlier, Sam, if that 7's there and they bunch it back together, I think that 05 and that 00 has some trouble for him. And you know, I think I jinxed it a little bit, but there he is, Sam.
There he is, certainly. I mean, he's up there going to be trying to do his best to run well as Kyle McCoy in 3rd place. Our top 5 currently right now: Scott Ricker, Travis Butt, as well as Kyle McCoy, Trey Jackson, Kyle Boylan, your top 5. Nate Lynch, Derek Offerman, Nick Holland, Andrew Medlin, and Ken Campbell. Going to be the rest of your top 10. Biggest mover so far going to be that of Max Ward, who's going to be back in 14th position, up 14 spots after qualifying in last place. Didn't put a time down, so has moved up quite well for himself. Of the drivers in the top 10, biggest mover is that of Nick Holland, up 8 positions, and tied for the second most in the top 10 is Kyle McCoy in 3rd place, as well as watching that of Ken Campbell, who drifts back in. Actually, take that back. It is that of Andrew Medlin as the driver stacked up, ready to go. Hunter, we got to see a little bit of green flag racing. If we get lap traffic like that again, oh boy, it's wide open on who's going to win this thing.
Oh, definitely. You know, it's Rockingham. No space to really work with. So when lap cars get all stacked up with the leaders, and just it creates a hornet's nest of madness. So it'll be fun to see if that happens again and it bunches up the leaders.
Pace car is off, and it's got Rickard automatically on the throttle, and we are green once again for the Rock Bottom 150 here at Rockingham for the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series Season 3, race number 12. And Travis is back to using that outside line. It was fast for the first 20 laps in a run. We'll see if he can gap himself enough over Scott as he's running, apexing, and making a huge launch as the 00 to the lead.
And you see the line the 05 uses. He's just painting that yellow line. He's running right on it. You know, the shortest way around the track is that inside line. The closest you can get to the inside line is the shortest way around the track. The shorter the way around the track, the less tire you need to use. So I think that 05 definitely learned from, you know, I saved my tires much better than the 00 last time. The 00 is going to stick with the same line. He's going to pull away, but he's not as good in that in the longer run than I am. But here's the 7. McCoy now around the 05. It looks like he's going to come and put some pressure on the 00.
Kyle McCoy, who dominated last week. The only driver that did better than the 7 was Timmy McNally. McNally nowhere to be seen here tonight. So Kyle McCoy coming in as one of the hottest drivers into this race at Rockingham, running a pretty similar lap position on course. Each line pretty similar to the 05, but you could just tell Scott Rickard, he is just painting himself on that yellow line. He does not want to go anywhere else. And we've already saw in that first run how on the long stints that we were seeing, it worked out for the 05. It's the fact that this early run really goes to the drivers that are maximizing their tires and being aggressive through these corners. But if you're seeing a long green flag run, I'm liking the 05 and the strategy he's going for.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you see the 7 kind of do the same thing as the 05 is doing. You know, the 00 is way up on that wider entry and then sliding back down. But, you know, the 7's kind of running like a Dover line, and he was really good at Dover as well in the Stars and Stripes league when they were there a couple weeks ago. And, you know, he was really, and he was so strong there. And you can see he runs a very similar line where he enters shallow, slides up an apex a little bit, comes back down and gets a really good run on exit on the 05. They're running pretty similar lines. That 05 is really just electing to stick all the way through that yellow paint. But right now, you see how quick that line is in the short run for the 00, but right now, you know, the 05 and the 7 are just, they're saving their stuff, and they're sitting back, just waiting patient, waiting for the 00 to burn up his stuff a little bit, and maybe they can save their tires just a little bit better than that 00 in front of them.
Drivers continuing to run away as our top 3, and the drivers that are stamped onto one another further back. You're just seeing drivers willing to go low, go high. It's Chris Wade stuck on the high line, and it's going to be Max Ward trying to make the pass forward. Ward not giving up. He might not have qualified. He might have started in last place. This 59, he wants a top 10 finish, currently in 13th, up 15 positions from where he started.
And if I'm not mistaken, Sam, I think that's around the most positions made up in this race so far is at 59. So right now, really good, really consistent. Down from the 53, Christopher Wade, that we usually see up front in these past races. So maybe this is a specialty track right here, the 59. Really consistent, doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, Max Wade comes in 32nd in points. He's shown up for 8 races, and he has not gotten a pole position. He's not gotten a top 5. He has not even gotten a top 10 this season. Max Ward, if this is a specialty track, why not go for it? The top 10 finish could be there for this 59 machine.
And consistency definitely will pay off. A win will definitely be important, since 32nd in points, only about 3 races after this to get your way into the playoffs. You know, it's still far back, Sam. I think a win is the only way you can get, especially if you've missed multiple races this season. So right now the 59 trying everything he's got. You know, started pretty much dead last and now has made his way through the field. He's not holding back anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, another driver that's kind of on a similar track that we're seeing from the 59 is that 66 team of John Dart. I know as we're watching Max Ward continue to make his passes, but John Dart, kind of similar stat line. Instead, he's shown up for coming into tonight 9 races, 0 top 5s, 0 top 10s, no pole positions. This 66 team looking to try to finish these races strong. And why not? I mean, we've got some drivers that haven't shown up here tonight, with only 28 drivers shown up, and already our first DNF going to be that of Thomas Velez. Or we're still questioning on the fact of some drivers that are looking for their best finish. It could come here from Rockingham.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, a track where consistent lap times and just taking care of your tires will pay off the most. And your car will take off so much better than everybody else if you can just take care of those tires. And of course, you need a long run for that to happen. But, you know, we've seen it with the 7. We've seen it with the 05. We've seen it with the drivers that, you know, they lay back a little bit in the shorter runs. And they start catching them in the middle to later runs, and the late runs, they're around them. But right now, you know, Travis Butt, about a 7/10, 8/10 lead right now. But right now, Kyle McCoy running about a couple hundredths quicker this time. You see lap 56, a 10th quicker. Lap 57, only about 400ths quicker. But the last time by, almost half a 10th quicker every single lap. 2 laps ago, almost a whole 10th quicker. So right now, that 7 of McCoy is catching him every single lap right now. And man, I don't know if the 00 is just really hoping for right there. Actually, wow, a 10th quicker for the 00, but so I don't know if he's still trying to push it a little bit, hoping for caution, but now he's starting to enter in the bottom a little bit more, setting up on apex and then coming back down on exit. But you know, Sam, I don't understand why drivers like to push it a little bit earlier in the runs and use a little bit more of an aggressive line, because you know that kills your tires more and you just really aren't there in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're trying to build up a big enough lead that you can try to hold off until they come into pit stops again. But quick yellow going to be coming out, and it's the drivers might have had a mix-up with lap traffic once again. As you see that Travis Dart and Andrew Medlin contact, and Dart once over the radio saying sorry about that, and we'll see her on the replay. Andrew Medlin running around that 6th place position, and you saw lap traffic on the high side. You see the 209 of Dart just running high. Medlin comes up, and we'll see. It's on the backstretch. Brushes the wall, and it just kicks him out. And there's just, at that point, both drivers zero control in that moment. You try your best to not hit that inside wall, but Hunter, there's not much to do in that situation except for hope that you don't hit that outside wall. Otherwise, you're going to be seeing the same results as we just saw Travis Dart have.
Yeah, definitely. And, we kind of saw the same thing, a similar situation with the 15 to Ken Campbell. Just really nowhere to go for either drivers. And unfortunately, both of them end up with wrecked race cars. So, fortunate for both of them. And, man, this is the unfortunate thing about this track is you just really don't have much room to go anywhere. And unfortunately, it's now had some drivers right now in contention for this win. Now having to use their fast repair, and we're just actually not even at the halfway mark yet, Sam. So we might see more situations like this where drivers don't have any more fast repairs, and unfortunately, might be DNF'd out of the race.
And this has been a struggle all season long. For season 3 is lap traffic and lead lap cars. I mean, I think the biggest blip that I always think about is Las Vegas. I mean, we kind of missed a little bit of that action live, but we were able to watch the race, and we saw multiple lead lap drivers being taken out by lap cars. And here at the Rock, it's a lot more difficult to get out of the way than a Las Vegas or any other course. And oh man, this is going to be just by the tells. This is our third caution of the night. This could be a very long night for some of these drivers if we're going to be seeing a lot of these wrecks. And, some of the drivers that have been involved in wrecks, like that of Travis Dart, he decided not to use his fast repair. He's trying to still manually repair. So he's still got a chance to get points later on, because for that of Travis Dart, he's still trying to point his way in. He's a very long shot to get himself in. He's 15th in points. He's about 45 points out from the bubble line, but he needs to get every single point from here on out. So he needs to save that fast repair. But oh man, this is gonna be a long night, it seems like, Tunner.
Yeah, and Sam, I just noticed something very interesting. The 00 took a set of tires. He came down, took 4 tires and Sunoco fuel. So right now the 7 will file out as the leader, and they had a fairly large amount of laps on their tires. I think around 15 to 20 laps on them. So you're definitely gonna see that 00 come to the field quickly. But I mean, we're not halfway through the race yet, Sam. He's already used two sets, if I'm not mistaken. He's only got 1 more. He has to use around 75 laps on each tire. Well, he's got to use about 75 laps on both these sets of tires, while drivers still have 2 sets of tires on this racetrack. So, I don't understand that pit call right there for the 00.
It's an interesting one, but this is what a lot of different, having quick cautions coming out, especially at the timings, every, 10 to 20 laps of caution coming out. It makes it to where you have to, think, do I want to take my set now, or do I want to save it later? And those different strategies is what has made it to where, drivers that we never really thought about winning have a shot to win. As our top 5 coming into this restart: Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard, Nick Holland, Kyle Boyling, Ken Campbell. As the drivers roar, getting ready to go green, a pace car pulls off, throttles down, green flag back in the air here for the rock bottom 150 at Rockingham. Kyle McCoy, great launch for himself. Top 3, all single file, really everyone until you fall back to that of 8th place, where they're almost thinking about going 3 wide at a moment there. Everyone's single filed out, and already contact in the back. Could be the big one. Yellow flag waves immediately.
Wow, looks like the 00. Looks like it happened actually right in front of him. I don't know if it involved the 00 there but right, heavy rear damage to 24 of Lynch. So let's see what happened here, Sam.
Going to be watching the replay, and I believe a lot of this started with the 1. Driver went a little bit airborne. It's going to be this of Jason Ricketts. And it's been the struggle all night long out of turn 2 into the outside wall. You're going to see the 1 just bump the outside wall and just turn into a ping pong ball into Mark Beverly. And Beverly going to be bouncing off the inside wall, back up into the track. And nowhere to go for the 9, and up in the air goes the 51.
Wow, the 51 became an airplane there for a second. Did he jump completely over a car there? Wow, that was I've actually never seen that before. That was pretty crazy. Uh, I would actually like to see an onboard view there of the 51 to see
We're gonna be on the 9
exactly.
first. Oh boy. Oh, Hasty had nowhere to go with this one. Oh, this is still a replay of the incident that went down. You see the cars making contact, and the 51 is coming back across, and the 9 just holding his line, hoping for the best, nowhere to go, and woo, into the air. And you can see in the mirror, 51 still airborne, and now we're on board with Beverly as he lands, and oh man, wild ride, bringing out our 4th caution of the day.
Wow, and just nowhere to go for the 9, but man, yeah, it's just like the ramp. It just picked this car right up and straight into the air. Yet again, this little backstretch we see at the Rock, just nowhere to go for drivers, and unfortunately, especially nowhere to go for the 9 is off the wall and into the. Oh my gosh,
Well,
he
that was the
jumped over a
66.
car.
That was John Dart that got to drive under.
He, he jumped a car. That is unbelievable, Sam.
And for Mark Beverly, this is going to be a long break for himself because I believe he had already used a fast repair. His engine blew, so he's going to be in pit road for quite a long time. As well as Travis Dart still getting repairs manually, and we are now on board with John Dart, who got to see the 51 a little bit closer than he wanted to. As we are now in the cockpit view, this is exactly what John got to see. 51 up in the air and just clearing.
Oh my gosh, that is unbelievable, Sam. Wow, I can't believe what was going through the 66 heads when that 66 head. I don't even know how to really explain that. I'm kind of speechless there, Sam.
Absolutely. I think the best comment came in. The best quote that could have been for that. Yep, I'm flying through the air. This is not good. Very true. That's how Mark Beverly was feeling. He already used the fast repair. He's going to be in pit road for quite a long time. But the drivers are stacked up once again. It's Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard, Nick Holland, Kyle Boylan, Ken Campbell, your top five, with that of Trey Jackson, Brett Somers, oh my goodness, Max Ward, Dylan Grimm, Travis Butt, your top 10. Whew. You know, cautions and also different pitch strategies gives drivers opportunities to be up front in the top 10. Don't get to see these guys up front very often, but they are on very much 20-lap older tires. And with the way we've seen the tire drop off with the times, this could be, if we're able to stay green for quite a long time, this is going to be very quick with the drivers that have fresher rubber cutting through the rest of this top 10.
Yeah, and I like to touch on the fact of the 15 of Ken Campbell. Where did he come from? I mean, he just wrecked a couple cautions before, and now he's back up inside the top 5. So incredible drive for the 15. He's gonna have to take it easy though, because he now is completely out of fast repairs. But man, what an incredible recovery for this 15. And we're not even halfway through the race yet, Sam.
No, we're not, as the pace car pulls off. Coming to the start of lap 72, it's going to be Kyle McCoy, Scott Rickard already taking off, but Nick Holland, the driver that has moved up 13 positions, up to 3rd. He's got the most wins in this 68 machine, and it looks like he might want a couple more.
Oh man, right now in heavy driving right now, or hard racing between these two drivers. The 15 and the 31 right now, not giving each other an inch. The 31's maybe going to get the run on the exit, but no, the 15's going to race him really hard to the inside. Man, we got 4 or 5 cars, 6 cars under a blanket right now trying to race each other. Look at the 00, Butt way up on the outside. He's on the fresh tires. He's trying to get around them.
Remember, Butt has used the outside lane. He knows how to use it properly. He might try to force it 3 wide if he's got enough space, but he's got to trust the other 2 drivers to recognize that he's 3 wide. But there's a hole, and it closes on the exit. This is why the 00 is kind of trapped. He's got to wait for one of the lanes to move forward, for him to move with them before he can try to force it side by side. It finally clears up. Travis Butt, he's got the freshest of tires, and now he's up to 7th, now trying to make the move for 6th.
Yeah, this is the perfect opportunity right now for the 00. Since he's going to make that alternate pit call where he's not going to have the tires at the end of the race like the other drivers will. He's just got to get to the front and hope this race stays green to the end now. He's just going to keep pulling away more and more from the other drivers, and he'll have the tire advantage over him up until this next pit stop. if this race stays green right now to the outside of 31 of Trey Jackson, just like that. You can see the tire bench he has right now. He's got to get to the front as quick as he can right now. Already up to the top 5. So right now this 00, like a man on a mission right now, trying to get to the lead, trying to catch that 7 of McCoy. As, man, we touched on it earlier, one of the race favorites to get this win, the 7 of McCoy. He's up to the lead. He's got the pressure of the 05 behind him. But Sam, man, he's back. The 68 and Nick Holland up the 3rd, trying to put the pressure on the 05 of Rickard.
And looking at the last lap times, it was Nick Holland that was the fastest of our top 4 of the drivers that are not on the newest of tires. This Nick Holland 68 team has been finding speed, and they are closing into our leaders. And speaking of our leaders, Kyle McCoy, he has got a mirror full of Scott Rickard, who is not giving away, but both drivers running very similar lanes on the entry and exit. And now it's the 05, trying a little bit of a tactic that he saw from the 00. He's moving a little bit higher, trying to find some more speed.
And definitely, and he's trying to get that run on exit on him. He's right in the back bumper, trying to get the airflow off his rear tires and pick it up, trying to make him slide on exit right there. He's trying to apply the pressure the best he can. Not trying to look on the inside. He's gonna get a nose in there, but now the 7's gonna use the top of the track, trying to get the best run on exit he can, and he's gonna make it work really well right now. There goes the 7, now gonna get a little bit more of a cushion than now that he wants over the 05. But man, that 00 is coming, and he's coming quick.
Oh yeah, and it is a complete tow. You've got that in Nick Holland as well as Travis Butt side by side for 3rd as they are closing in, creeping into our front 2. As Nick Holland gets a little loose, he is going to be losing some ground. Kyle Bolilli now going to be trying to make the pass for that 3rd place position, but it's the 00. Travis Butt is coming, and I think the biggest thing for Butt is he cannot outrace himself. He knows he's faster, but he doesn't have to get too aggressive here. He can be pretty patient on when he wants to make this pass. I mean, he knows he's got the best tires. The driver he's going to worry about is that of Nate Lynch, who's back in 5th place. So if I'm really the crew chief or the spotter, tell the 00, be patient, make this move when there's a clean space so you don't wreck this 00.
Yeah, definitely, and you're looking at the 05 right now. He's not on the limiter like he used to be when he was leading, and right now it's just going to fly around the outside of 7 McCoy. Now the new leader, 00, he's just got to take care of his tires. He's about 15 to 20 laps fresher tires than anyone else on the field right now that's on the lead lap. So he's just, even if he saves Sam, he's going to be quicker than the drivers behind him that are on the other tires. So right now, it's a perfect opportunity for the 00 to keep pulling away, and he's just got to hope that no caution comes out for the rest of this race.
No caution, and also got to hope that you don't catch up to a massive pack of lap cars like we saw for our first caution, which, drivers already. Contact going to be happening further back in the field. No yellow going to be placed, but coming out of turn number 2, there was an incident of lap cars that are now going to be getting back out on the track. Our leader, they're going to be coming up the lap traffic way sooner than they want. I'm concerned for our leaders once again, as they're about 15 laps away from lap traffic.
And man, that's what a driver doesn't like hearing, is they're coming up to lap traffic, especially when they have someone behind them they're trying to race. Thankfully for the 00, he doesn't really have much pressure from behind him. He's setting quicker laps every single time than the drivers behind him, thanks to the fresh tires. But you just don't like seeing lap cars in front of you racing side by side, or racing even 3 wide, are really hard, because you just know you're going to lose time if you're running quicker laps than them every single lap, and it becomes a hornet's nest. And unfortunately, it might even get you into an accident like we've seen with past drivers earlier in this race. So, some drivers really just don't like seeing it, especially because you might have to slow down your lap times and just be patient around the cars in front of you, and definitely not what a driver wants to see when they're battling with someone behind him.
I am loving the run that I'm seeing from Nate Lynch, who's running in 3rd, and on screen we're just seeing the massive collection of drivers that are around 7th place, as you've got the 7th place position of Trey Jackson. You also got him battling with Dylan Grimm. You also got Aaron Hale and Derek Offerman and Brett Sommers all mixed in with this group. And these guys, you got the 4 who's on the freshest tires, who has to be slow and methodical here, and everyone else battling for position on the much older tires. Derek Offerman also on fresh rubber, and it is just a tale of how do you get through traffic when you know you've got better tires. much better rubber than everyone else. You're running about a half a second to 0.3 faster than most of the cars you're around. It is difficult to stay patient, but that is exactly what these drivers right now are being forced to do as we're past halfway, inching closer and closer to lap 100. For the drivers that have already pitted during 2 cautions ago, they're feeling comfortable and confident that they can still stretch it out for another 10 to 15, laps for themselves. We'll see if they can stretch it out any longer than that, though, as a lot of the drivers here tonight still battling every single lap to make sure that they're still up front. But for the drivers that have not pitted for any tires or fuel under these last 2 cautions, last time they came into pit road, it was 44 laps ago on lap 44. So that means they've got to figure out when they want to come into pit road, which might be around lap 100 if we continue to stay green. Hunter, when drivers going to come into pit road? Probably the biggest question right now, because over half the drivers did not come into pit road 2 cautions ago.
I definitely agree with that lap 100 call for these drivers. I think that's a good call for them to come down to pit road, because they'll probably run the rest of the race on those 50 laps on that last set of tires, because they'll definitely want to keep one till the end if a late caution does come out. But the only problem is that the 00 but will not have that extra set of tires like the other cars behind him will. So this is where the 00 but just doesn't want to have that late caution come out for him. So I don't know. I don't know when the 00 but will come down. Probably 110, 115. Who knows? I don't know if he'll try to make that overcut that large, since he'll still be losing time, with his current tires when those drivers come down around lap 100, like you said, Sam. So, it'll be interesting to see when that 00 comes down over everybody else in the field.
Yeah, everyone trying to have the best runs possible here late in this season. As we've been watching the 2 of Mike Lynch. Lynch up in the top 10 and looking for his first top 10. A lot of firsts that we've been touching on early in this race, and all those drivers that we were talking about earlier of John Dart as well as Max Ward, they've fallen back to 15th and 16th. Again, they're kind of on a similar strategy as most of the field of, hey, we're gonna save our tires and make the pit stop later on, as that of Mike Lynch. He's part of the group of drivers that have pitted 2 laps ago, as we're on board with the battle that's currently going on for that 15th position. John Dart, Max Ward, the 2 drivers we were talking about earlier. Do want to make a correction, though, as that of John Dart did come to pit road to get service done. I think when we said that he got clear, I don't think he fully got clear. Might have gotten a little bit of roof damage, so we had to come into pit road and get some service done for that 66 machine. But certainly looked spectacular when we rewatched that incident that happened where we saw Mark Beverly go airborne, and still we're seeing 66 and the 59 still battling hard, strong. Let's see who will be in the top 15.
And right now I'm paying attention to the 25 of Lynch right now. Man, he's running a tenth and a half, almost 2 tenths quicker every single lap right now than the 00 Travis, but he's catching him, and he's catching him quick. He's all the way down to around 7 tenths right now to catching him. He was a second and a half a couple laps ago. So, oh man, this 25 is coming. He's coming in fast. So
it's already down to a half a second is the difference between our first and second place drivers. And this was something I was touching on when they first were climbing through the pack, was that Travis Butt was forcing the issue at times, going high, going low, taking any spot and position to make the pass. While that of Nate Lynch went with the more passive approach, where he kind of just stayed low, ran that yellow line all the way through. When someone would give him space, he would take it, make the pass, cleanly move forward. So he was always about 2-3 positions behind that of Travis Butt, which, you look at the telemetry and you're like, well, obviously Butt's the faster car, but because he was so fast in those first 15 laps since we went last time we went green, we're now seeing Nate Lynch with that slow, patient approach that he went with. We're now seeing the long run kicking in. The 25, Nate Lynch, he might have lost a bet. He saw the Braves get swept by the Yankees. He had to run this Danica Patrick scheme. And you know what? It seems to be the lucky charm for this 25. This has been one of his best runs so far. Nate Lynch looking for a shot. If he can win here tonight, could be finding himself into the playoffs.
And man, he's having a perfect run right now. Already up to the back bumper of the 00. And look at the run he got. Now he's going to stick his nose in right there. Not going to get into the corner like he wants to. He's going to stay on the bumper of the 00 though. I mean, he's just running it quicker every single lap. He's going to catch him at one point. But man, I think he found himself a lucky paint scheme there, Sam.
He might have. Going to be forcing it low. But going to be staying in the middle groove. Going to be arching it back and forth. But you can just see the run already. Lynch on the back bumper. Going to be trying to duck it low on the front stretch. Into the quarter panel. He's finally there. The 25, Nate Lynch, to the inside for the lead. Lynch taking the point, and now going to be trying to pull away. But this is it's kind of a toss-up now. Do you even want the lead? Because lap traffic, they are 10 laps away. And also, we're soon to be seeing drivers making green flag pit stops here very shortly.
Well, definitely, and yeah, this is the perfect opportunity Nate Lynch wants to see, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, he's in the perfect position now. A half a second already to Travis Butt. 4 seconds to Aaron Hale. A lot of drivers behind him coming down already. So, oh man, this is perfect for the 25 and Nate Lynch. He's got to come down pretty soon, though. I would probably say in 10 to 15 laps, the 25 will come down, take his set of tires, and try to catch down the drivers that undercutted him. So, man, this 25, he's found himself some luck here today. You know, we don't say that very much for the 25 and the other Lynches. So, I mean, right now, perfect race for this 25. And man,
all the Lynches in the top 10. You've got Nate Lynch leading with that of Mike and Brian running 9th and 10th. This is the best run we've seen all three of them run. It just seems like every single one of those drivers each week just find a little bit of something that just throws them off to have a poor showing for themselves. As more drivers, you see Nick Holland coming out of pit road. We're expecting to see more and more drivers into pit road. Kyle McCoy just came in, as well as that Brian Lynch. Pit road, it's getting busy, and drivers are coming in about 50 laps to 59 laps already in this run, which is making me slightly concerned for such as Nate Lynch and those like Travis Butt that stayed out. I don't think that they can stretch it to the end of this race. They might have to come back into pit road and do a splash and go.
No. They're definitely taking tires here, Sam. I think they're just going to give it about 6 to 7 more laps. Then they'll come down, you know, because, I mean, 5 lap tire difference is huge here. Rockingham, they can easily make up around a 5 to 6 second gap within 40 laps. So I really think 25 of Lynch is in a perfect position if this race stays green. So right now, I mean, all he's got to do is just keep setting his lap times. Now 2 seconds, almost 2.5 already to the 00. But so I don't know. Maybe this 25 is going to stay up for as long as he can. Maybe stay up for this entire rest of the race. But right now, this is the 25's race to lose.
His green flag pit stops are going to be in full swing now. And yeah, I like that call that you were talking about. Pit with these drivers that are coming in now. The only downside of them coming in, taking tires now, is they don't have that extra set later on. This is why they're kind of getting forced into this issue of waiting as long as possible to come into pit road. But that gap that they're going to be losing, they got to figure out, would I have enough time to catch the drivers that I'm letting pit now, get tires, and either pass me on this undercut, or they could be having too large of a lead for me to even have a shot to catch up to them. Another driver into pit road. That's going to be Kyle Boyling, as it's still Nate Lynch up front, Travis Butt, drivers that have already pitted 2 cautions ago, as well as that of Derek Offerman, Aaron Hale, and Dylan Grimm. Your top 5, as we're seeing the battle for third now. Travis Butt, his last time by, he has been running anywhere from 3 to 6 tenths off of our leader and the rest of the field. Derek Offerman, the fastest driver on track by 3 tenths. Watch out for the 20. He's coming to maybe make a surge for the lead.
Man, we've been talking about consistency in top 10s to this 20 car. I mean, he's setting sailing. Yeah, like you said, 3 tenths, almost 3.5 tenths quicker. That time 3 wide right there for a second. That's 12 of Medlin's not holding anything back. And the 20 though, really quick, much quicker than that double zero. Double zero's kind of let him by right there. Up to second for that 20 car. He's going to try to catch that 25 and Lynch now. 3.5 seconds behind him. Can he do it before they enter pit road? I think the 20 is going to stay out a little bit longer than that 25 because he's running quicker, much quicker than him right now. Derek Offerman right now, he's looking for a win, and you know, we haven't really said that much. We even said that very often. Sam, this might happen for him today.
It could possibly happen, as words are just, we don't know where they're going anymore. It's going to be Dylan Grimm into pit road as well. Scott Rickard getting service done for himself. All these drivers that are coming in, just trying to get as much service done as possible as it continues on each and every lap. That last time by, 7/10 faster was the difference. And the biggest thing right now, Nate Lynch, he's burning off tires, but he's also being caught by lap traffic at the worst time. That's costing him a lot of time, possibly here. And then also Derek Offerman, lap traffic are just passing him on the outside, so the 20 can run his lap that he wants to run, same lane every single time, while Nate Lynch, he catches up to lap traffic, and they're stuck below him, so he has to run high, losing time and ground each and every lap.
Oh my gosh. Here's Sam. 7/10 quicker. 4.3 tenths quicker. There's Sam for the 20 of Derek Offerman that time by. My gosh, man, the 20 of Offerman is flying.
He was flying that last time by because of lap traffic. He did lose a tenth, but I mean, if we look at the split difference between our leader and second place, you can see the major difference that's going on with Nate Lynch, Derek Offerman, both drivers putting on massive stats. But you see in the green, that's every time that Derek Offerman has been flying. I mean, this is looking catastrophic at times, as it's not looking good for Lynch, because you see this, he's being pushed on the high line, lap traffic, forcing our leader to run not the lane that he wants to be on, which is costing him time greatly, because right now Derek Offerman doesn't have lap traffic, the gap less than 2 seconds now.
Yeah, around 3-4 laps ago, it was about 3.3 seconds that 25 had the gap on him. Now it's down to 1.9. This is flying. And 2/10 that time by, almost 3/10 that time by. Right now, the 20 of Offerman, he's on a mission. He's trying to catch that 25 of Lynch. And man, if this race plays out like the way the 20 wants to and stays green, oh man, now this is the 20's race to lose.
Trey Jackson as well as Brett Somers into pit road. All the drivers that are in their top 5 all pitted 52 laps ago, under 2 cautions ago. So these drivers on much older tires, but the driver that is catching up and trying to make a late surge, he pitted on the last lap. He's got the most fuel, and that's going to be Chris Wade back in 6th position. We know fuel-wise, Chris Wade could be in a better spot than everyone else that's in our top 5, but tire-wise, that goes to Kyle McCoy, who's in 8th position, but is 1 lap down.
And yeah, I definitely did not expect this. This is how it was going to play out here, Sam. And yeah, I'm kind of speechless here. Only the top 6 now in the lead lap. 20 of Offerman coming out of nowhere. The 25 of Lynch as the leader. Man, wow.
But the furthest we've seen drivers go is only 63 laps. That is the most we've seen so far with the drivers that had 2 pacing laps. 2 cautions to pace, save fuel. So right now we're expecting to see our top probably 7 coming into pit road quickly. And honestly, lap traffic, wouldn't be surprised if that's another factor that could be costing greatly, as Kyle McCoy surging. And right now, Derek Offerman about to be passed by Kyle McCoy. McCoy's goal right now is to get himself back on the lead lap. He's the first car a lap down, so if a caution waves, he'll get that lead. He'll get that position, get back on the lead lap. But he wants to do it the hard way. It's the 7. He is now less than a second from getting himself back on the lead lap.
And right here, this is where a caution would be perfect for the 25 and the 20 0-0. And everyone right now inside the top 6 that's on the lead lap, it would play perfectly because it would trap everybody else down, a lap down, besides that 7 McCoy, who would then get the lucky dog. But drivers would then have to stay out and take the wave run as the 7 McCoy now gets back on the lead lap, getting around the 25 of Lynch. Right now, it looks like times are kind of evening out. Here's Sam with the 20 and the 25.
Aaron Hale into pit road. Hale could not stretch it into pit road. Derek Offerman now into pit road. They cannot make it. They've got to come in. Nate Lynch, he might have had, if anything at this point, he's got to hope that he can somehow run down, catch up, and pass Kyle McCoy. And Kyle McCoy's got to be careful because he's got Kyle Boyling, Scott Rickard. They're going to be doing their best to try to surge through this lap traffic to try to run down. But the 7 of Kyle McCoy, you touched on it earlier there, Hunter. This racetrack felt like Dover, and Dover was the first race where Kyle McCoy got his win this season just 4 weeks ago, and now trying to go for win number 3 this season to tie that of Nick Holland and have tied for the most wins this season. Our ARCA Season 1 winner of the Stars and Stripes series. Ace trying to get more wins for himself, but right now Lynch continuing to stay out, as well as that of Butt, Mike Lynch, as well as that of Chris Wade. We're still waiting for our top 4 to come into pit road.
And only 28 to go here, Sam. Can the 20 make it? Can he catch up to the 7 of McCoy? Can he round out or cycle through and try to pass these leaders? He has a huge tire difference. He's going to be much quicker every single lap, probably about a second and a half every single lap. But I don't know if he can do it in around 27 laps here, Sam.
And just got word of drivers trying to get out of the way is that of Kyle McCoy is being caught by drivers that have fresher tires than him. The 7, he wants to catch up and get past that of Chris Wade. That is his marked driver. Wade has the best fuel. He can stretch it the furthest of the drivers that are in our top 4, but he's only got a less than a second gap and is about to be gone. And just in this backstretch, Kyle McCoy about to make the pass in turn 3 and will do it for 4th place in what could be, once this cycle goes through the lead, Kyle McCoy up to 4th.
And man, it looks like it's going to cycle out as Kyle McCoy's the leader. He's got the pressure of the 68 of Holland behind him, but I mean, not pretty close, Sam. I mean, the 68.
I'm wondering. I'm looking. Travis Butt, he pulled away, but did Travis Butt back off so much because he knew fuel was going to be close?
Oh, that's a good question there, Sam. I think the 25 and the 00 are trying to make it all the way. I mean, if they wanted to come down for tires, they would have probably already came down by now, or if not now, this is the time to go if they want to go. So right now, the 25 and the 00, they're running much slower times, but like you said, maybe he backed off early to save fuel. Maybe they're trying to save.
You want to give notes of drivers that have had to make a disconnect. Aaron Hale, who was looking for a solid run, a top 10 finish for the 4, he is out. And you can be on board looking at Travis Butt. Look at how he is trying to shift, save fuel the best that he can, and he is shutting off his engine, trying to save fuel on the entry, launches and fires that sucker up through the center of the corner. The 00 of Travis Butt's trying to save fuel, and right now he's only got a 12.5-second gap lead over Kyle McCoy. But that of Nate Lynch, we're going to move on board with him. What is the 25 doing to save fuel? Because he's now running slower than the 00. Oh, man. Yeah, they're trying their best.
Oh, I just don't know. There's no way the 25 can hold on to the lead. It's around 2 seconds a lap right now that the 7 of Kyle McCoy is catching him. Oh, and the 25, he can't do this in 22 laps. They're going to need a caution here if they have hope right here. It doesn't look like the 25 is clutching in as much as the 00. The 00 completely shut his engine off to save as much fuel as he can. I've never seen that mid-race. I only see drivers usually shut it off under caution to save fuel and clutch it in the corners. But, yeah, man, he's completely shutting that engine off. The 7 of McCoy on a mission, almost already 15 seconds behind 25 and Nate Lynch. Pretty much 2 seconds a lap right now.
And a driver that also is trying to make a late surge as Wade could not make it. He was running in 5th place after being passed by Kyle McCoy. Decided just to come in now, 20 laps to go. He'll try to make as many positions up as possible currently. But Mike Lynch running in 3rd. He's got 7.5 seconds back until Kyle McCoy catches up to him. And he's got about a second ahead of him is second place with Travis Butt. So that's the closest of the margins of the drivers that are in our top 5. But a driver that I'm not surprised making a surge, but I think the gap might be too big. Scott Rickard in 6th place, trying to make the pass for 5th.
Yeah, man, and the 7 and the 05 have been racing each other all day today. Once the 7 caught up to that group, and right now the 05 of Rickard 7 seconds back from that 7 of McCoy. This is just perfect right now for the 7 of McCoy. As you see right there on the board, 26.07 for the 7 of McCoy, a 26.9 for Nate Lynch, almost a whole second, an entire second right now that time by. Then that 00, but so right now, oh man, if this race stays green here, Sam, I mean the 7's got it. This is his race.
I'm coining it right now. It's the Robert final 20 laps. In the final 20 laps, we have seen a caution come out, and it would not surprise me if we see one here tonight. Drivers on extremely different tires and fuel-saving modes, and we could be seeing someone get completely ran over, and it could be disastrous. But with how much Travis Butt is saving and how fast Kyle McCoy is catching up to the 00 and for the 2, would not be surprised to see Kyle McCoy make the pass with 5 laps to go. But the question now is, with how big of a lead that Nate Lynch has, in the way that he is not completely clutching it into the entry of these corners, I'm kind of surprised that 25 is running as hard as he is. I mean, I would imagine that he's being told he's good to make it to the end, or he's banking on a caution to come out.
Yeah, I think he's just banking on a caution at this point, Sam. 00 is completely shutting off his engine to save fuel, and they're on the same pit strategy. So I really think that 25 is at the point where he's like, you know what, I'm just going to have to run it dry, and hopefully the 7 can't catch me or I get a caution. So right now, that 25 is on a mission, and is, you know, yeah, that his brother, 2 of Lynch in 3rd, you know, maybe brother to brother, he's going to hold him up just a little bit, and maybe try to give his brother there the victory right now. Is you know, the lucky Danica Patrick's team he's got on, and you know, I think that's the first time I've ever had the word lucky Danica Patrick come out of my mouth there, Sam. But right now the 25 of Lynch, I don't know if he can make it.
We would make 2 Danica Patrick references this year. We got the 25 machine running the Danica Patrick car. If you want to see the other reference, watch the finale of Indy after this race. But man, it is one of those things here tonight. 13 laps to go, and it's still up in the air of who could win this. But we know one thing: a yellow comes out. John Dart, the 66, looks like he might be the cause of it. Oh boy, the Robert 20 laps to go continues here for the Stars and Stripes. Oh boy.
Yeah, I really think Robert should change the ticker and put up, here we go, Robert 20 to go. And man, every single week, Sam, every single week we get a late race caution. Oh man, the drama.
Well. Right now, it's our top 11 on the lead lap. That of Andrew Medlin, going to be getting your lucky dog position for the 12. The rest of the field, they got a question. Do you take the wave around? But right now, here's your replay of exactly what happened. You got the 66 of John Dart, and also that of Trey Jackson, battling hard with one another. And it's late in the race, trying to make aggressive moves, but is saving fuel. And you don't want to go 3 wide there that late. Contact 31 into the 66. Late entry, and no surprise. Oh my goodness, Mike! He's still alive. Oh, Kyle McCoy almost got involved as well.
Oh my goodness, that view from the 2 car, that's probably just like what we saw with the 66, with the 51, him jumping under the car. But oh, Sam, I don't think you could have fit a piece of paper between those 2.
Either he's wearing his brown suit, or he certainly is having a very awkward time in the cockpit of that too, because this is a scary moment. He sees the car go up, but then he just sees smoke. Trust is in that moment, and sliding on by is Mike Lynch. And in pit road, service is being made for the drivers, and a little bit of an audible call by some. Staying out were a few, and drivers that were forced into pit road felt like the race wasn't going to go long enough. we now have that of Derek Offerman, Ryan Lynch, gonna be the drivers in our first row because they don't have an extra set to come in for. They got plenty of fuel to go into overtime.
Oh man, Sam, now this is gonna be a very, very interesting restart. Nate Lynch is gonna keep the lead after all of that.
Well,
and now
he's gonna get third. He's gonna be in third place because Derek Offerman and Brian Lynch are gonna be in first and second, but first out of pit road was that 25.
Yeah, my apologies on that, Sam. They'll keep the lead as the newest car on fresh tires in front of the cars that try to cycle through that pitted, unlike the 25 who tried to save his fuel. So he's got to make his way around the 24 and the 20 still. The 20 of Offerman was on a mission earlier, quicker than the 25 until he came on pit road. And he was one of the quickest cars on track. He's trying to get a win here. It's going to be around 8 to 9 laps when this restart happens. So, oh man, this is going to be a very interesting restart, Sam.
Well, Rockingham is always something. I honestly, I think every league that I come to this racetrack, it is one of the more fun tracks to watch. You never know where you're going to see the sparks, and we've seen it at every single position all night long. It has been fun to watch here. Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series. Woo! Tonight's been a fun one. We've seen cars go in daredevil mode, flying over other cars, dashing, squeezing through tight spots. And now we get to see a less than 10 lap dash to the end of this thing, and we do have overtime if needed. Which, Hunter, I feel like we might need those overtime attempts.
Oh, I definitely agree with that statement there, Sam. These drivers are now going to be holding nothing back, especially with the new mixture of older and new tires. Oh, man, this is going to be a very sketchy restart here, Sam. But, yeah, it's going to be a crazy one. I think this 25 can do it. I really think he's got the lucky Danica Patrick paint scheme on. I'm probably never going to have those words come out of my mouth again, Sam, but...
You never know. If he continues running this scheme, we might have to. Oh, boy. Pace car is off. Ryan Lynch, Derek Offerman, Nate Lynch, but McCoy, we're green. 8 laps to go here for the rock bottom 150. Derek Offerman, he's going to try to pull away, but they're already bumping and grooving. It's going to be Travis Bott on the outside. McCoy following suit as they are trying to make a surge. Contact made. It's going to be flying into McCoy, and they're going to be still slicing and dicing. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get to go 3 wide as all the drivers on older tires drop back. But it's Butt pulling away, and this is the best strategy for Butt. He's been the fastest in the first 15 laps with the way that he arcs into these corners, but it's going to be looking at the drivers right here, battling for that of 3rd place. You got Lynch, Offerman, Boyling, as well as drivers scattering in the back. Watch out, it's Mike Lynch, the 2 who sneaked us by. Last caution, he didn't survive that inside wall this time.
And that was a really, really sketchy restart there, Sam. Old tires versus new tires, we saw it. The 2 losing control at the back of the pack, but I kept my eyes on the 25. He was stuck behind the 2 cars on the older tires on the inside, and unfortunately didn't get that run on exit like the 00 and the 7 did. So now he's gonna be stuck back in 3rd right now. Can he make this restart work in his favor? He's gonna get the jump behind the 00, but yeah, like you said, after all of that short run pace he had, it's finally going to work out for him. The 00 is up to the lead, and he's only going to have around 4 to 3 laps to go on this next restart.
And it's only going to be better for Butt because the later the run goes on, the better that high line gets each and every lap. So if he can get a great launch, have enough space, Butt has a fabulous shot to get his 3rd win this season. He's already shown that he's got some pace to get some wins. He won back at Las Vegas under a lot of controversy of drivers that were being taken out by lap cars. We saw that start out here tonight at Rockingham. The next time we saw Butt win was 3 weeks ago at Phoenix. Another dazzling race coming at the end where we had to use all our overtime attempts. We'll see here tonight. We are still going to be in regulation as we're going to be going green again. I believe the timing of this caution might put us with 3 or 2 laps to go when we go green.
And man, that's just going to be perfect for the 00, but if no caution comes out and we take the white flag for this upcoming restart, this is the 00's race. He's going to get the jump of the restart. He's going to have that preferred lane that he works so good in the short run. Yeah, this is the double zeros race right here, Sam. That's my final prediction. I know I've picked and choose from about 3-4 different drivers today, Sam, but man, we've seen the short run pace that double zero has, and we got Robert's prediction of Nate having this win. I guess we'll find out.
Well, speaking of predictions, I mean, I know, but I don't think I said it on air, but before we went live, I threw it out. I was like, I feel like we're probably gonna have 6 or more cautions before at the end of the day. I mean, we are at 6, and no surprise, Rockingham. It is close, hard racing, nose to nose, grit fights, and we know the gloves are gonna be off when we go green once again, which looks to be an inside the regulation possibly here of a green-white checkered. Lights still blinking, so we're going to be going into a green-white checkered situation inside regulation. That means when we go green, if we get the white flag, we race it to the end, and it's whoever crosses the line first is going to win the race. But if we get a yellow before we get the white flag, we go into overtime, and we practically do the same thing that we just did. Drivers feeling the anticipation because this is race 12. There's only 15 races in the regular season. And honestly, with 6 drivers that have gotten wins already this season, 2 of them are outside of the top 12 in points. And some of the drivers that have wins, they're at that, 10th and 9th place position in points currently right now, which means if you're trying to point your way in, you got to make sure you're inside of the top 8 of points or even the top 6 of points just to keep the consistency. The pressure's on for a lot of these drivers. Pace car lights are off. Hunter, we're about to go green. What are some of your final thoughts before we take off on this madness train?
Oh man, I think the madness train is going to keep continuing. I think it's going to get even rougher here with this restart. These drivers are definitely not going to hold anything back now. It's going to be side by side, 3 wide. Definitely not 4 wide. There's no way the drivers can fit it through this track. But you know what? They probably might try to send it here. So let's see. So, oh man, this is going to be a sketchy one here, Sam.
Travis Butt, Kyle McCoy, Nick Lynch, Kyle Boyling, Scott Rickard, your top 5. And we'll see who can get it done. Pace car is off, and he's already gone. But, oh, Wilson! Kyle McCoy spins. We stay green. No yellow, it waves. Now it waves. Oh, no!
That involved the 25 as well. Heavy nose damage for him.
And we just see the massacre afterwards. The whole entire inside line, accordions up. And we now go into overtime.
Wow, man, I am speechless here, Sam. This is definitely not the race I was expecting. And man, you saw the heavy wheel spin in all these drivers, but the 2 leaders, one of the front row drivers, involved in that accident. Oh, the calamity ensues there. Holy cow.
I mean, so initially, when we're seeing the replays now, but I mean, it all started with the collision of Nate Lynch into the wheel spinning driver of the 7, Kyle McCoy, which then launched the 25 up into the outside wall. And when you got drivers that are in our front, 2 to 3 rows on a restart, if you have someone wheel spin or wreck, everyone else is involved. They're especially on a restart when you're this jam-packed with one another, you don't have a chance. But now it's time for drivers that were involved, come to pit road, use your fast fare if you got it, and hope you don't have the same scenario happen again. Oh man. Well, I guess that Danica Patrick's team, their Hunter, is not as lucky as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah. we definitely saw it coming there, Sam. The wrecking ball of the paint scheme we usually see it as. So, oh man, I think that's very unfortunate for the 25. That definitely is a heartbreaker there. And now is down on pit road trying to take as much repairs as he can. But, as the driver we thought we were going to see as the win there, almost had it. And unfortunately, just nowhere to go. And like you said, just one driver in the front sends that wheel spin and sends the car around. Everybody stacks up and causes a wreck. So there. So,
Yeah, I mean, for Nate Lynch, I mean, what a great job honoring the Danica Patrick scheme with style. The way that it really was raced on track, always caught up in a wreck at some point. So, you know, for Nate Lynch, he certainly showed promise, but you're running the scheme that got wrecked most of the time. But looking at the drivers up front, you got that of Travis Butt, 2 wins in this race. Kyle Boyling with 0 wins, I believe, coming into this race. Then you've also got that of Scott Rickard with 2. Derek Offerman with 0. Mike Lynch, 0. Brett Sommers, 0. Andrew Medlin, 0 wins. Patrick Hasty, 0 wins. Trey Jackson, 0. Sean Dart, 0 wins. We only got 2 drivers that have won so far. They're in the top 10. They're up front in the top 3. But we're looking for drivers that could be having their best finish of the whole entire season here at Rockingham. That's kind of what we touched on in the first 20 laps when we were talking about John Dart as well as Max Ward. Well, we got some other drivers up here that are looking for a very similar thing for themselves. Make sure, Rockingham, that this is a complete just change of momentum to either get yourself in the playoffs and have the best start possible for these final 4 races. If you want to get in the playoffs, it starts now to really rebound, because if you try any further than this, you might not have enough races to get enough points.
Yeah, definitely. And right now, 44 Bowling is in the position he wants to be. He's up front almost every single week and trying to get that victory there. So let's see if the 44 can do that on this restart here. And this is the perfect situation for him to get a victory. You know, we've always seen him up front trying to compete for that win. So let's see if he can do it here. The 00 is going to get the jump on the restart, but let's see if he can just try to get up to him and catch him as quick as he can. He's only going to have 2 laps here. The 00 right now, you can see test that jump to see if he can get those rear tires to get as much traction as he can. But right now, the 44, the 20 of Offerman behind him, the 05 of Rickard, all these drivers trying to get a victory here. The 20 of Offerman, 44 of Bowling, trying to get a win to lock themselves in the playoffs. Let's see how it works out here, Sam.
Gonna see how these drivers can attack. Everyone's on a similar strategy, except for Mike Lynch, who's in 5th. He's just out here to survive. Everyone else, they feel comfortable and confident. First attempt at overtime is Travis Butt, already gone. But watch out, Kyle Boyling, Scott Rickard, they're going to be getting frisky for themselves on the entry of turn 1. Already we've seen drivers getting sideways, coming out of the corner, and Butt was one of those drivers that did it earlier. Already single file for our front 4. They're side by side for 5th, but it's going to be that of Kyle Boyling. He needs to get on the back bumper. If we get the white flag, we race it to the end. This is going to be Travis Butt out of turn 4, getting us. No, we don't. Yellow waits before he gets to the line.
Wow. About 100 feet more and he would have got that white flag there. The 05 Rickard was flying. It looks like he was going to catch him as well. It looks like he wasn't going to catch him, but that caution now helps out. That 05 Rickard might have a chance to get the win here.
And we've contact was around the middle of the pack, around 11th, 12th with Trey Jackson and Brian Chu, I believe. But we're still trying to get to where that incident was. But we are now going into our second and last attempt at overtime. Again, if we get to the white flag, we race it to the end. But in this attempt, if we get a yellow flag before the white flag, this race will conclude under yellow. For that of Travis Butt, we just saw how dominant he was on that first lap. No one was even close. It really is going to be on that second lap. If we get to the white flag, that's when we might see Rickard or Boyling have a shot to challenge this 00. But Butt might be thinking about changing what lane he wants to be in.
Yeah, and he gets the jump every single restart that he wants and pulls the gap that he wants. The 05 Rickard's just going to have to predict his jump and hopefully try to stay within him, because, you know, right there on that restart, or those last couple of laps, right before he took the white flag and the caution came out, the 05 Rickard was catching him just slightly, got around the second place driver of Kyle Boyling at the time, and it's just right now 05 of Rickard. I think he can get it. If he can get the jump and the restart that he wants to stick with the 00, I think Scott Rickard can win this race.
Certainly looks like it is possible for that to happen, as drivers trying their best. As our front 5 going to be Travis Butt, Scott Rickard, Kyle Boyling, that of Brett Somers and Mike Lynch. All 5 of those drivers have been able to get into the top 10 or top 5 at some point this race, except for Mike Lynch. Lynch is going to be trying his best to get one of his best finishes of the season. And for this too, I mean, what a way to try to go out and honestly a blaze of glory for himself and get out there and have a solid run. And then you look at some of the other drivers. I mean, we touched on John Dart as well as Max Ward. Patrick Hasty, who's in 10th place, looking for his first top 10 of the season. This is going to be massive, hoping that you don't get caught up in what could be the next big one. Pace car lights are on. We're going to be going next time by. Yeah, Hunter, I just realized, and we're probably going to have to play it during the times where we're going to be setting up for interviews, but we haven't played a single commercial yet tonight because it has been that great of racing all night long.
Yeah, definitely. I've been on the edge of my seat this entire race, and these drivers have definitely put on a great show. Multiple cautions today, around, I think it was 8 or 9 here, Sam, but still put on a really good show and great racing. A lot of racing I actually did not expect, so especially this final restart, I'm really looking forward to this. And man, I don't know. I don't know if they'll race this to the finish and take the checker flag. This might be under yellow. These drivers really aren't giving anybody an inch. But right now, Sam, I just noticed this. The 17 of Brett Somers in 4th place, right behind the 00 of Travis Butt. He's got a chance to win this race.
Brett Somers, 21st in points before tonight. Had 7 starts, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s. He's going for a shot to be in our top 3. And honestly, he's got a pretty good shot, especially the way we're seeing the 44 start to falter back. But it is going to be close, hard racing. Travis Butt, Scott Rickard, as well as Brett Somers, Kyle Boylan, as well as Mike Lynch, your top 5. Pace car and the drivers getting set, ready to go. Some of them might be feeling like they're going to be at rock bottom after tonight. But for someone up front, they could be winning the rock bottom 150, our final. It is. We just needed 2 more, maybe a couple of more attempts. But this is it. It's got Rickard's there. They're side by side coming out of turn number 2. Travis Butt's going to try to get the launch out of the corner, but he's going to be still side by side. He brushed the wall with the 00. Coming into turn number 3, still on the quarter panel is Scott Rickard as they are going to be dashing out of turn number 4. The 00, he should get the momentum out of the corner as they're coming to the white flag. We'll get it. It's the freaky fast white flag as they enter turn number 1. Travis Butt, Scott Rickard, still side by side as Kyle Boylan just watches from the background. This is going to be the last chance for that Rickard to make the pass. He dashes it high, dashes it low. He'll now try the outside. It's going to be the 05, trying to get a massive run, but he's just been watching all night long, but he's not going to be close enough. Travis Butt, possibly, oh no! It's Butt by just a hood. Rickard with the launch out of the corner out of nowhere. But it's the 00 getting it done here at Rockingham.
Oh my gosh, that 05 just needed 100 more feet, and I think he would have got him there, Sam. 600ths of a second, he got him. The 00, Travis Butt's going to go back to victory lane yet again this season. Wow, what a final last 2 laps were insane there, Sam. Holy cow.
Whew. Travis Butt, I don't think he was expecting the launch from the 05 to stay so close. But that was a scary moment for Butt. He thought he had the all clear, but the massive launch from Scott Rickard kept it close. But now Travis Butt with his 3rd win at Rockingham, it now ties him with the most this season with Nick Collin. And with the playoffs right around the corner, what a time to start to hit his groove once again. The 00, Travis Butt winning. We're going to step aside. We're going to have a pretty lengthy commercial break. When we come back, though, we're going to be talking to our top 3, Travis Butt, Scott Rickard, and Kyle Boylan. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show here at the Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series for the Rock Bottom 150. Certainly, some drivers felt that rock bottom. For these top three, they certainly had a surge. We're going to be bringing up into the booth Kyle Boiling, who had a great run for himself here tonight. Kyle, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, you certainly were having a late surge there. Had some opportunities to make some passes, but man, give us your point of view coming into those final three restarts because it looked like a madhouse from our point of view.
Oh, I got so lucky on it would have been probably that third to last restart where the guy inside of me missed the restart, so I was able to get to the bottom going into one, and then a guy that was coming on my outside got stuck behind a slower car on the outside, so like it went perfectly on that third restart, and then from there it's kind of took advantage of McCoy having his issues on the restart there, and then just held on.
I mean, Kyle, you're right around that bubble of the drivers that are pointed in to our top 12. You had a shot to try to win this thing. I mean, we got three more opportunities before playoffs are around the corner. How are you feeling about these next three races of Watkins Glen, New Hampshire, and Talladega?
Watkins Glen is the one I'm feeling the best about. New Hampshire is kind of New Hampshire and Talladega for me are kind of toss-ups. It could be good, could be bad. Don't know what's going to happen until it happens. But Watkins Glen's kind of the one I'm kind of focused to have a really good showing there.
Man, Kyle, it was a blast to watch from us up in the booth. But before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Oh, well, thanks to you guys for putting on a great broadcast here, and thanks to thanks to my dad again, like I did 2 weeks ago, he's gonna help me redo my rig here as I get new gear. Yeah, that's all I got.
You gotta love getting new gear. Well, Kyle, good luck next week at the Glen.
All right, thank you.
That was Kyle Boiling. I mean, the 44 certainly had a great run for himself, but the car that got the best launch there in our last attempt at overtime goes to 0-5, Scott Rickard. Scott, you got me up in the booth?
Yes, I do.
Well, Scott, you had the best restart with Travis there, but you just came up a nose shy from winning. I mean, what else could you have done there?
Be first on a restart, or even on the outside start would.
Very true, very true. It seemed like that was your best opportunity. Was there a thought maybe to back off and let Travis go so you could go on the outside and try to make that similar run that we saw in that final corner?
Nah, I was may in hindsight, yeah, but not that time. I was thinking if I can hook it right, I might be able to get in front of him.
Certainly. I mean, Scott, you've been one of the fastest guys all season long, but once again, it just seems like in the middle of the race, there's always a caution that kind of makes you think, I'm going to come into pit road, and it puts you back in traffic. I mean, how hard was it for you cutting through traffic? Because it looked like a handful up in the booth.
It was good and bad. Sometimes some people it was easy to pass, depending on the tire. Some it wasn't. Just a matter of make sure you didn't wreck somebody on your way through when you're lap down doing it.
Oh, yeah. Well, Scott, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Everybody at Misfit Motorsports and my dog in the room.
And that's going to be Scott Rickard in the 0-5, getting a second place finish. Congratulations, Scott, and good luck next week at the Glen.
I'm ready for it.
And after the dazzling move that we saw from that of Scott, you had Travis Butt coming in with a surge of himself, just enough to get the win. Travis got you up in the booth in victory lane. How does this one feel for yourself?
I mean, it feels really well. I felt like we had a good short run car, and it's kind of funny. I was talking to my teammates and stuff that, like, I never really raced. I'd buy the track, which I thought I had the track, but I guess I didn't. I thought I got some kind of package. I bought it like 15, 20 minutes before this race. So I came out of the gates kind of quick, and, I thought we had a really good strategy. I was saving there for a while, and I thought I was going to be the only one good on gas, and that wreck happened, and I thought I was screwed. And, man, that was just a mixed emotion race, honestly.
It certainly was a mix for us as well. We saw, I mean, that short run speed, you just had it hooked up with the arcing that you were doing on the high line. What made you, I mean, I know that you didn't, like you said, you didn't have a lot of time to practice, but what made you want to utilize that high arc, kind of like a Darlington of ways, on the way you were attacking these corners?
I mean, right in the beginning of the session, I did a qualifying run, and not really much a qualifying run, but I was like, gosh, I was like, I can't hook this bottom. I said, I just get loose. And Kyle, my teammates at Cyclone Motorsports, we were sitting there going, I don't know. And Kyle went out there and he had newer tires than me. And I was like, I'm going to the top, so I'm going to the wall. And I was able to pass him. I'm like, this is better than I think. And I started arcing it and qualifying. I about scraped the wall and I arced it down and ran a really fast qualifying lap. I said, I think that's what I'm going to do. I knew it was a good short run speed. I was able to hold off people for about 30, 35 laps. And then I knew after that, I was kind of probably toast. I learned a lot that first run. And then, I know you guys didn't like my pit strategy call, but I thought, I got to do something different. I felt like it. I felt like if it stays green, I was going to be good. And it worked out really well. And I knew it was going to be close on gas. And I had about 3 laps to the good. So I was going to start pushing it. So I stayed ahead of my teammate Kyle. And then Kosh came out and changed it all. So all in all, we finished with the win.
Yeah, we certainly, I mean, if that stint had stayed green, we knew at some point you were going to push. We just didn't know when it was going to be. But, Scott, I mean, Travis. Travis, you are now passing that of Scott as well, passing many others that you were tied with 2 wins. You're now tied with that of Nick Holland with the most wins. How are you feeling about these next 3 races? And do you got a feeling that you might be going to the playoffs with the most wins going in?
I mean, I think Ricker's gonna be really good at Watkins Glen, so I think he'll pick up the win as long as he stays on course there. So, I mean, I think he's gonna get tied up there with us again. And I don't know where after Watkins Glen. I'll have to look. I kind of been really busy about the last couple of weeks, and it's kind of nice. Cyclones Motorsports is 3 in a row now. So Kyle won last week, and then I won the week before. So then I won today. So Cyclone Motorsports with Brian, Josh, and Kyle. We getting 3 wins in a row, and it's kind of showing. Brian and Josh and Kyle's been putting a lot of work in, and they're able to relay the information to me. And I kind of felt like the last 2 wins I've had, it's been kind of lucky to a certain degree. And I can't really do it without those teammates. They've been a big help. And I got to say, Christopher Wade is my hero as always. He sent me a message and told me to thank him and SC Motorsports. So he's my hero. So I hope he hears this right now.
Well, Travis, before we officially let you go, if there's anyone else you'd like to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I got plenty. The lots of podcasts that help me out. Checkers for Records does that too. Let's see here. I got plenty, man. Why I'm just brain dead. I mean, I just came off a good win. Like I feel like I feel like I'm lost. But as always, everyone that helps me out, you can see my car. It's a great paint scheme. I'm glad that everyone can help. And, you guys do a great job up in the booth, and I appreciate that. And I hope do you guys have fun up there in that race?
It was a blast for us. That is for sure. It was pandemonium at times.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, that and you guys and the sports commute, they help me a ton. And hopefully we finish off the season strong, and we may pick up one more win and go into the playoffs. I feel like our Cyclones Motorsports team is in a good spot, and like I said, thanks for the help of the sports commute. They got me here, and paid for a lot of my tracks, and they paid for that track too, so that that they're helping me out. So hopefully we keep on winning, and we'll see where we go through there. Hopefully we got another Highline track, because that's I like riding the wall.
Well, you got Watkins Glen, New Hampshire, and Talladega to finish out the regular season.
Ooh,
so
New Hampshire and Talladega, 2 places I'm decent at. So get past Watkins Glen, I'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Travis, congratulations on your win, and good luck next week.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for all you guys do.
That is the 00 Travis Butt winning here at Rockingham. And the race 12 here of this season certainly was a blast for us to watch. Major thanks to Hunter Hayward. He had to step away. He's got school he has to go prepare for, so he's got to go to bed. But for us up in the booth, our top 10 going to be that of Travis Butt, Scott Ricker, Kyle Boylan, as well as Brett Summers with a 4th place finish for himself. Andrew Medlin going to be getting a 5th place, continuing on with his top 5. So he's been getting Mike Lynch, John Zart, Patrick Hasty, as well as Kyle McCoy and Dylan Grimm finishing out your top 10. I mean, for John Zart, Patrick getting a top 10 finish. I mean, it is massive for these drivers. They have been waiting all season for a great run for themselves, and they finally got it done here today. Congratulations to those drivers, as well as Mike Lynch with his top 6 finish. Top 10s for the drivers that are getting their best finish of the season. Congratulations to them all. And everyone else, I mean, Max Ward, great run for himself. And, you know, some of the heavy hitters, what we were seeing here tonight, you see them on the board now. I mean, Aaron Hale back in 25th position was not able to finish out this race. One of those drivers. Wade not having the best run. Mike Watts as well, another driver that had a lot of early issues, was one of the first cars 2 laps down at one moment, finishes on the lead lap and in 19th place. Great recovery for a driver that was really looking like his day was going to be done a lot sooner. But here tonight, huge thanks to all the drivers for putting on an amazing show that we get to call each and every week. But it has to come to a close here tonight. Watkins Glen next week, and the points just get a little bit closer as one of the drivers that had already won wins again. That means all those points positions, they're still open to be grabbed for all of these drivers. Thank you so much to everyone that has joined for us here tonight. Rockingham, what a blast. Watkins Glen next week as we send it over to Robert Moyer to finish out the call.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Man, like you said, you went through the standings there, and, congratulations to a lot of these. Brett Summers, man, what a great run. He's going to have 15 positions up to 4th position. Mike Lynch, Dart, Patrick, like you said, a lot of guys must like this track because it's great to see them have a rebound in their season to get up to where they are right now here. And after tonight's race, it helps out big time in some points. As like you said, we're down to 3 races, and they're going to have to battle hard for the next 3 weeks, and especially next week at Watkins Glen. That's going to be a hit and miss track for a lot of drivers. Some are going to like racing there. Some are going to be there, and do good. And then there's other ones that are just going to struggle. It is what it is. Trust me, I was never a good road course racer. But I always showed up and finished in the top 10. Got what I could get out of it. So next week, some of these drivers that are trying to point their way in, they just got to show up and just finish the race. So, but until then, that's next week, next Thursday, 9:20 here with Stars and Stripes. But like Sam said, it's going to get very, very interesting. So make sure you tune in for that. Our next televised here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting is going to be Saturday night at Homestead. Final race of the season with NISCC Cup Series with 4 drivers going to be battling to win the championship at 8:50 here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. So if you're free Saturday night, make sure and please tune in Saturday night and watch that action-packed racing as we got 3 Category 5 drivers going against 1 other driver. So, and it's the professor. So I don't know, Sam, man. It's this Saturday night. Hopefully everybody's ready for this because I got a funny feeling it's going to become a very, very interesting night Saturday night. I don't know what you have to say before we sign off here at The Rock.
Yeah, no, Saturday night, I'm excited for it. I mean, I got to talk to some of the drivers after the race and hearing from the Category 5 drivers on the fact that there are 3 of them teammates. They are not going to be playing friendly. They are already from really after they knew they were locked. All 3 of them were locked into their Championship 4 race. They all went their separate ways. They're going to come Saturday night with all their own different strategies on how to attack Homestead. I think the favorite has to be that of Brian Johnson, who's got the most wins coming into that championship race. You've also got Cedric Hunter, who's looking like to want to be the fastest drivers at that race. That call's going to be doing everything in his power. But you said it, the professor, Sean Hutt Stutler. We've seen him in other leagues we cover on Wednesday night for that of the Underdog Racing League. We've seen that 94 just come out with spectacular runs. And also when it's tire saving, that is one of the biggest things at Homestead. It is going to be a duel of all 4 drivers going for that championship.
That is right. So make sure you tune in Saturday night, everybody here. If you don't mind, we do much appreciate it. But until Saturday night, we want to say up here at Freaky Fast, please have a safe Friday. Enjoy your day of work. Be safe out there, and the weekend. But we'll catch everybody Saturday night. But until then, from The Rock, from Sam Dyer, Hunter Hayward, and Robert A. Moyer Jr. up here in the booth at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we want to say God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.